The history of zoos dates back to ancient civilization, where royalty and wealthy individuals would keep exotic animals as a symbol of their power and wealth. The first known zoo, called the menagerie, was established in Egypt around 3500 BC and consisted of animals such as lions, elephants, and baboons. In ancient Greece, Aristotle and Alexander the Great both kept collections of animals for study and display. The Roman Empire also had zoos, known as ludi, which were used for entertainment and featured exotic animals from Africa and the Middle East. During the Middle Ages, zoos were primarily found in monasteries and were used for educational and research purposes. The animals were often kept in small, cramped cages and were not well cared for. It wasn't until the 18th and 19th centuries that zoos began to take on a more modern form. The first modern zoo, the London Zoo, was established in 1828 and featured larger enclosures for the animals and a focus on conservation and education. The Berlin Zoo, established in 1844, was another important early zoo and still considered one of the best zoos in the world today. In the 20th century, zoos face increasing criticism for their treatment of animals and their role in conservation. Many zoos began to focus on breeding endangered species and on educating the public about conservation efforts. Today, many zoos are accredited by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, AZA, and are committed to providing high-quality care for animals and promoting conservation efforts. Despite the progress that has been made, zoos continue to be a controversial topic. Some argue that zoos play an important role in conservation and education, while others say that they are inhumane and that animals should not be kept in captivity. Overall, the history of zoos is a complex one that has evolved over time. From ancient menageries to modern conservation-focused institutions, zoos have played a significant role in our understanding of animals and their place in the world.
Let's embark on a journey through time to explore the remarkable history of how cats evolved from wild creatures to cherished house pets, dating back thousands of years. Cats began their unique relationship with humans around 10,000 to 12,000 years ago in the Fertile Crescent, a region encompassing parts of modern-day Iraq and Iran. They were initially drawn to human settlements due to the abundance of rodents attracted to stored grains in early agricultural societies. Cat worship has a rich history in human culture, especially in ancient Egypt, where they were revered as sacred symbols of grace and protection. Cats were also being domesticated in ancient China. Archaeological findings in China have provided crucial evidence of cats' presence in villages about 5,300 years ago. As civilization spread, so did cats. Their travels along trade routes facilitated their presence across the continents. By the 12th century, cat worship continued. The Renaissance marked a cultural shift. Cats found themselves in paintings and literature, symbolizing elegance and independence. This period laid the foundation for the modern house cat. Unlike some other domesticated animals, such as dogs, cats did not undergo significant physical changes during their domestication. The domestication of cats was a gradual process driven by the mutual benefits of humans and cats cohabiting. Today, about 600 million domestic cats retain much of their wild instincts, while also providing companionship to millions of people worldwide.
Otherwise known as cats. They're cute, they're furry, they're cuddly, and thankfully for all of us, people put them in cartoons. That's why today at Channel Frederator, we're celebrating the animation of man's other best friend and counting down the 10 best cartoon cats.
No, kitty, this is my pet pet.
Number 10, Mufasa, the king of all cats. And it doesn't hurt that he's voiced by the great James Earl Jones. Number 9, Hobbs. He's a loyal companion. And if he ever gets annoying, just remember, he's just a stuffed animal. Number 8, Catbug. Catbug is absolutely adorable.
I could have just one peanut butter square.
And can travel between different dimensions. Number 7, Stimpy. He's always happy and joyful.
Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy.
Truly horrifying. Number 6, Cat in the Hat. He speaks in rhyme, and that always makes for a good time. No, not that one. Please, no. Number 5, the Aristocats. They're Disney's best cat creations, and their jazz skills are on point.
Groovy, Mama, groovy.
They're just so cool, despite their arrogant belief that everybody wants to be a cat. Number 4, Garfield. He hates Mondays, he loves to eat, and he loves to sleep in. He is literally everyone. Also, he is voiced by the great Bill Murray in the films. Number 3, Puss in Boots. He's suave, he's got moves, and he's an expert swordsman. Fear me. And as indicated in his name, he wears boots. Number 2, Hello Kitty. This cute little cat defined pop culture for a while now. Who knew a little cartoon cat could become a $7 billion franchise? Number 1, Puppy Cat. Looks like a cat, smells like a dog. Okay, yeah, we're a little biased. And now for some honorable mentions.
Simply mad. It's time to read some fan mail.
Have you ever wondered how birds achieve those stunning, vibrant colors? From the dazzling blues of a kingfisher to the fiery reds of a cardinal, nature's palette is truly incredible. Today, we're going to explore the fascinating science and secrets behind those dazzling feathers. We'll discover how pigments work, how light plays tricks on our eyes, and even how evolution became a master artist. But let's start with pigments, the natural chemicals that give birds their basic colors. Just like paint, pigments absorb certain wavelengths of light and reflect others. There are three main types: melanins, carotenoids, and porphyrins. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. Not all colors in birds originate from pigments. Many of the blues and iridescent shades are what we call structural colors, created by the interaction of light with microscopic layers in the feathers. When light hits these structures, it scatters, reflects, and refracts, creating shimmering hues that change depending on the angle. This is why a peacock's feathers seem to glow and shift from green to blue to purple. In simple terms, the bird's feather acts like a prism, bending light to create pure, vivid colors that nature can't mix from pigment alone. Color isn't just determined by genetics. It's also influenced by nutrition. Birds can't produce certain pigments on their own, so their vibrant colors depend on their diet. A well-fed bird is a bright bird. When food sources change, so does their color intensity. So, why go through all this effort to maintain their color? The answer lies in survival and attraction. Bright feathers can signal health, attract mates, or even warn predators. From peacocks to penguins, every shade serves a purpose. From pigments in their food to the physics of light, birds' colors are masterpieces of biology and evolution.
ever wondered why birds have so many different types of beaks? Well, that is because each beak is like a special tool that helps a bird eat its favorite food. Look at these little birds. Pigeons and sparrows have strong, short beaks, perfect for crushing and cracking seeds. Their beaks work just like nutcrackers, helping them break open hard shells to get to the tasty food inside. Look at this mighty eagle. It has a sharp, curved beak that helps it tear meat from its prey. This powerful beak is perfect for birds of prey like hawks, owls, and vultures. Splash! Did you see that? The kingfisher just caught a fish with its long, sharp beak. Birds like kingfishers and herons have piercing beaks, which act like sharp spears to grab slippery fish from the water. Meet the flamingo. It has a flat, wide beak that helps it filter tiny food like shrimp and algae from the water. Ducks and swans also have this kind of beak, making it easy for them to sip up food while swimming. Knock knock. Who's there? A woodpecker. This little bird has a sharp, chisel-speaked beak that it uses to drill holes in trees. Look at this tiny hummingbird. Its long, thin beak is like a straw, helping it sip sweet nectar from flowers. Look at the swallows and swifts. They have sticky beaks. They can catch tiny insects in the air using their sticky tongues and beaks. Wow! Bird beaks are like nature's super tools. It can tell you a lot about what it eats.
It lives in total darkness at depths of up to a mile below sea level, and what has been referred to as the midnight zone. Down here, don't be afraid of the dark. Be afraid of the light. The light is a lure wielded by our champion of the weird, the deep-sea anglerfish. The lure is created by bioluminescent bacteria that live inside the angler. It drifts through the water, flashing its beacon, waiting for something to take the bait. This squid thinks it's found an easy meal. A fatal mistake. The squid was smaller than the angler, but had it been bigger, the anglerfish is prepared. This far down, meals are few and far between, so to make the most of every opportunity, this anglerfish has evolved a distending jaw and expandable stomach. Thank you, deep-sea anglerfish, for bringing so much weirdness into our lives.
What we really want to do is work out what the emotional life of horses really is, what their emotional world is really like.
To build her library of horse emotions, Karen has designed a set of experiments to trigger them. She plays recorded horse talk and observes the response. Startled and afraid, or curious. she shows them photographs of horses and of humans. Toffee likes this one. This one isn't so popular. Karen's team has made the surprising discovery that horses have 17 different facial expressions. That's 3 more than chimpanzees, and 1 more than dogs. It makes sense that horses use emotions to communicate with each other. But what fascinates me is they can read our emotions as well.
They're capable of putting together the sort of representation of the person with the emotion. To me, that shows a very acute emotional awareness.
Elephants can use their trunk to pick up tortilla chips and other delicate objects without breaking them. Interestingly, they have terrible eyesight and very thick skin. So how do they achieve such a gentle touch? Researchers at the Max Planck Institute for Intelligent Systems, the Humboldt University of Berlin, and the University of Stuttgart have discovered that the secret to the elephant's amazing sense of touch is in its unusual whiskers. Elephant trunks are covered with about 1,000 whiskers, but these whiskers can't move independently like the whiskers on the faces of rats and mice. Instead of whisking, these whiskers ride around on the elephant's trunk, sensing their surroundings. The unique geometry, porosity, and material stiffness of elephant whiskers show how these large and powerful animals can be precise enough to pick up a peanut. Their whiskers act like feelers, so they know right where to find small, delicate objects. The researchers also examined cat whiskers, finding they change from a stiff base to a soft tip. Thus, cats may enjoy some of the same touch-sensing benefits that elephants do. Beyond expanding our understanding of the sense of touch, this research has the potential to inspire new robotic sensing approaches that resemble the unusual whiskers that cover the elephant trunk.
Whether it's classical, pop, jazz, or hip-hop, almost everyone likes some form of music, but our appreciation of rhythm and rhyme might not be unique. Decades of research have hinted that animals may also be music lovers, and further study of how different species respond to music may help us to understand how and why the ability to perceive and appreciate music evolved in us. There's no doubt that to us, music is different from other sounds. You know it when you hear it. That musical sense is called musicality. And it seems that even animals very, very distantly related to us have it too. One group of intrepid researchers tested whether Nile crocodiles could tell the difference between music and simple sounds. They used a brain imaging technique called functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI, which uses the blood flow in different areas of the brain to estimate activity. Now, if you're wondering how you get a crocodile to kindly sit in a big old machine while you scan its brain, well, these were juveniles, less than a meter long. They were also lightly sedated and wearing a special helmet so they didn't move their heads too much. And incredibly, the researchers did see different patterns of brain activity when the crocodiles listened to Bach as opposed to random chords, suggesting the music sounded different to them. And many animals can go a step further and actually distinguish between different genres of music. Pigeons can be trained to peck one key if they hear an organ piece by Bach, and a different key if they hear an orchestral piece by Stravinsky. And even fish can tell blues from Bach. Doesn't tell us whether or not they actually like like music. To get at that, researchers have looked more closely at how animals react to melodies and beats. Thus, animals seem to find some types of music more relaxing than others. But being relaxed by something doesn't necessarily mean you enjoy it. Perhaps the most convincing evidence that animals actually like music comes from studies that let them freely choose what to listen to. In a 2007 study, when monkeys were allowed to pick between different types of music by moving to different parts of a chamber, they chose lullabies over techno. But if given the option, they preferred silence. Taken together, the science suggests that animals, especially mammals, do have some musical preferences. But why do animals like music at all? The answer to that is still a bit of a mystery. In fact, we don't even really know why humans like music. But ultimately, the origins of our love of music may remain a mystery, as such hypotheses are difficult to test empirically. Fortunately, we don't have to know why musical enjoyment evolved in humans, or in our furry and feathered friends, to be able to rock out together.